So there have been some big things happening within Call of Duty. Yesterday, we got our first clues towards Call of Duty 2020. It was an Easter egg teaser kind of thing. We still don't have a name Hold on. Is this thing on? Ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday, and you know what Tuesdays mean. It is update day for Modern Warfare, and normally, the week after a season starts, it's a really small update, but this week, that's actually not the case. We've got some weapon buffs and nerfs that are actually going to change up the meta of Warzone. On top of this, we have some Call of Duty 2020 stuff to talk about very briefly, and all of the other changes that came today as well within Modern Warfare. So normally, a Tuesday after a new season is relatively small, but not this time. So we have a lot to talk about, so let's just dive right into it. So starting out with the store items this week, we have two new bundles and then one that we got last Friday. So we've got the Executive Armorer and the Poison Dart. Those are the two that are new today. So starting out with the Executive Armorer, this is where we get Goldface, and this is a bundle for Mace. So Mace gets this really cool new skin. He's kind of dressed up, but wearing a golden mask. Looks pretty damn cool, not gonna lie, probably one of my favorite skins of his. However, there is something weird with it. If you take a closer look at the mask, on the forehead, there's actually the logo for Zakhaev's arms, and it is also on his belt buckle as well. It appears as though Mace has been bought off by the Zakhaevs. Now, I'll probably have a video in the future discussing this, but it's definitely interesting, and it actually ties in with a bunch of the intel within Warzone. Now in this bundle, on top of the Mace skin, you get two golden weapons. The first of which is an assault rifle here called the Motherload. Once again, all golded out, looking pretty sweet. Also, it's important to note that this one has tracers and golden dismemberment, which I'm not exactly sure how that works currently. Then the second one we got here is, I believe, the Fennec here, and this one's called the Royal Coffer, and it's got the 40 round mags, which you pretty much need to use on this weapon. So actually a pretty good blueprint and looks pretty dope as well. On top of this, you get a new melee weapon, which is just a golden axe called the Golden Hue. Looks pretty cool. And then a weapon charm, sticker, and a mace quip as well. This one's going to cost you 2,400 COD points, which for what you're getting is pretty average, but there's no finishing move or anything like that with this one. After this, we have the Poison Dart. This one is a weapon blueprint bundle, and I actually like the look of both of these quite a bit. The first of which you have here is called the Galapagos, and this one is for an assault rifle, looking pretty cool. The second one is called Anal, and this one is for the MP5. Honestly, doesn't have the best attachment. The tack laser and sleight of hand are pretty good, but the rest are kind of useless. But the weapon skin does look pretty good. And this also comes with a lizard calling card and emblem as well. And then the final bundle, this one actually came out last Friday, is called Ragnarok, and this one has a really awesome, one of the best skins out there for Minotaur. Probably one of my favorite, to be quite honest with you. But this came out last Friday, but I just thought I would point that out as well. Moving into the playlist update, nothing crazy has happened here this week. First of all, Warzone is more or less the same. Once again, Mini Royale returns, and I'm not gonna lie, I actually really enjoy Mini Royale. If you're going for wins, it's probably the easiest game mode to do it in. If you haven't checked it out, give it a shot. And the other one is Plunder Quads. So I believe last week we had Blood Money. This week is Plunder Quads. It actually makes it a little bit easier to do Easter eggs and that kind of thing. The games just last a little bit longer. And then we also have Battle Royale, which consists of quads, trios, duos, and buyback solos, aka stimulus solos, which is where you get an automatic respawn if you have $4,500. So really nothing special as far as Warzone goes. Moving over to multiplayer, we have Ground War, first of all. Gunfight 3v3, nothing too special there. Bare Bones, which is a new playlist. It is a mosh pit of game modes with no kill streaks, no field upgrades, and no perks. So it's an interesting one. It's one people have liked in the past. Personally, I prefer to have kill streaks. If there was like a Bare Bones with kill streaks, I'd probably really enjoy that. And then also we have Hardcore Team Deathmatch and Kill Confirmed. And also, Weekend Warfare is still here, even though it's not the weekend. And as far as playlist updates go, that's really all we have this week. Nothing too special. As I said earlier, normally on the week after a season is added, there's really nothing that big, and that's similar with this. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, there are some patch notes for this update, and most of them are just for weapons and specifically for LMGs. And for the most part, they're actually buffs. So the first weapon that we have that got buffed is the Holger 26. It got increased damage range and increased aim down sight speed. So you'll aim down sights faster and you'll have better range. It is pretty clear from this update that they're trying to make LMGs much more viable in Warzone, which the Bruin already is, and don't worry, we'll get to that gun in a second. The second weapon is the M91. This one also got a buff, and it has increased near damage, so up close it's going to deal more damage, and increased aim down sight speed. And that was probably the biggest problem with the LMGs. It was just a really slow aim down sight speed, so it's better now, and I'm actually interested to give these a shot in Warzone to see how they play. They're also going to be better in multiplayer as well, especially that M91 for the close range. Now, the one LMG that did get a nerf is the Bruin. So the Bruin got reduced damage range. Now, it depends on how much this damage range got nerfed, but I have a feeling this is probably still going to be one of the best guns in Warzone, and the simple reason for that is just that it has such low recoil. You can be so accurate with it, and I think that if they are to nerf the Bruin more, I think it should be either a recoil thing or a fire rate thing, but maybe I could be wrong. I'll have to give this a shot and see how it feels. Now, the weird weapon is the FAL, because it actually kind of got a buff. It got a nerf and it got a buff at the same time. So the two things that happened to this weapon is it got increased headshot damage and reduced near damage. So instead of being a 2-hit kill to the torso and limbs, it's now a 3-hit kill. That's the very minimum amount of bullets it's going to take, unless you get a headshot, in which it's going to be a 2-shot kill at any range. So that's where it got the buff. And in this case, the FAL is actually going to be worse in multiplayer, but it's pretty much going to be just as good, if not better, if you're hitting headshots in Warzone. I think this is an interesting solution to the FAL being really good, but again, I don't think this is going to make it a bad weapon. If anything, it's still a top tier weapon, and it made headshots even better and deal even more damage. So if you're really accurate, the FAL is just going to shred for you. Essentially, if you don't understand this nerf, what this is going to do is if you drop in right away in Warzone and pick this up off the ground, it essentially is going to take one more bullet to kill unless you are hitting headshots. That's the best way of looking at it. Now, I will say with these weapon updates, I think they have to be careful, because with that last update before this one, it kind of made it so that there was other viable weapons other than just the Grau and kind of M4 and weapons along those lines. And I have a feeling that if they nerf certain weapons too much, like the FAL or like the Bruin, and they don't buff enough other stuff, that it's just going to become the Grau show and the MP5 show again, and it's going to be the exact same meta that it was before. So I really do think they got to be careful with that, and even go and nerf the Grau even more, because if you haven't used it in Warzone since it got nerfed, it's still a go. Now, we actually found out a little bit more about these updates. Ashton Williams, who is the community manager at Infinity Ward, tweeted last night and said this: "We've got 2 patches in the works that will fix a few bugs. One has weapon tuning, a fix for an exploit, a fix for an error that occurs when opening the armory, and a few other issues. The second one fixes the graphical corruption issue with weapons, the play again option not working, and more. I don't have an ETA just yet, but we'll share more details when we are set." So obviously we got the weapons tuning today. The rest, like the graphical corruption, is going to come in a future update, maybe next week or the week after. And by the way, if you haven't seen that graphical corruption, it's pretty strange. I think it mainly happens on PC, and it's kind of game breaking, so hopefully they fix that one soon. Now, the one thing I do want to talk about before the end of this video is yesterday I made 2 separate videos about the Call of Duty 2020 reveal and what was going on with the Easter egg, and what we ended up finding is this screen that you see here. And on this screen you see that on this Friday, August 14th at noon, we're going to be getting some sort of addition to this reveal. Now, I have done some more looking into this screen here, and there's one thing that I wanted to point out that I didn't point out yesterday. In the background, off to the right-hand side, you can see the Warzone map with some different names on it. It's a little bit too blurry to read, but on the left-hand side, you can see what appears to be a child's drawing. And as it turns out, this was actually the cover for a game for the Atari called Chopper Command. This game was made by Activision, and very clearly it's placed in the background there. It's literally identical. It's a desert with airplanes dropping bombs onto vehicles, and I don't know what that has to do anything. There's a rumor that this game took place in 1982, and potentially the Call of Duty Cold War game could take place then too. It seems like a little late, especially because the chess game in the reveal yesterday was in 1972. So I don't exactly know how this plays in, but I thought I would point it out, and maybe you guys can let me know what you think about this down in the comments. But ladies and gentlemen, that is everything we have to talk about today. That is everything in the new update for Modern Warfare, a little bit of talk of Call of Duty 2020, and that's pretty much what we're looking at through the rest of the week. So as per usual, if you enjoyed the video, it is always appreciated if you hit that like button. Like what you see, want to stay up to date on all the videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on. Let me know what you think of all of this down in the comments. And as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, peace out. We are